Meanwhile, Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III is of the opinion that OFW should be exempted from the travel restrictions to China and its special administrative regions. Among the reasons cited by the labor chief is the uncertainty that these OFWs are facing. But he adds that he agrees with a statement of health officials that the government cannot gamble on the health of Filipino workers. This report.
Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III agrees with the recommendation of the Department of Health to decide within 2 weeks on whether or not to lift the travel ban on OFWs to China, Hong Kong, and Macau. This amid the threat of the 2019 novel coronavirus acute respiratory disease or nCoV-ARD. Bello said that the government can't gamble on the health of Filipinos. However, he still believes that OFWs should be exempted from the travel ban as there is uncertainty on their part here. Also, Bello doesn't want to repatriate Filipinos working in Hong Kong.
Maaaring hindi na lang doon. Doon na lang muna sila. Oo. Kasi so far wala pa namang report na may tinamaan tayong kababayan doon eh. Meron pa ang communication from the Hong Kong consulate na binibigyan sila ng extension. Kahit na nag-expire, binibigyan sila ng extension para lang hindi sila umuwi.
To recall, the government earlier imposed a temporary travel ban to and from China, Hong Kong, and Macau due to the threat of the nCoV-ARD, which led to a number of OFWs being stranded. With this, the Society of Hong Kong Accredited Recruiters of the Philippines, or SHARP, appealed to allow Hong Kong-bound workers with approved contracts and visas to return to their host countries of employment. In a letter sent to POEA, the SHARP asserted that the families of the OFWs are heavily banking on their earnings for their financial needs, that their non-departure may lead to the cancellation of their visas and unemployment. That's why they proposed that if there are no direct flights from Manila, let them depart via a third country like Taiwan, which has no flight suspensions yet, to Hong Kong.
That's why we're asking the Philippine government, especially Secretary Bello, to coordinate with the Department of Health in assessing the situation and looking at the plight of these people. They have work there.
Meanwhile, Senator Bongo guaranteed that those who are affected by the travel ban will receive assistance from the government. He added that they are still assessing the situation before giving the go signal in lifting the ban.
Ngayon po may tulong po ang ating gobyerno, Executive Department, the Department of Labor and Employment. Nagbibigay po sila ng tulong, cash assistance po. Pansamantalang hindi pa sila nakakaalis. Pangsamantala lang naman po ito. Sana po ay malampasan natin kaagad ito at maging normal na po ang takbo.
As an assurance, the Department of Health said,
wala na tayong entry ng nag-travel through China in the last 4 days na. Pag nakaabot tayo ng 14 days doon, then mas madali na sa atin kasi ang babantayan na lang natin yung mga nandito na sa Pilipinas. At hopefully, unti-unting bababa na yung mga PUI natin sa cases na.
Mark Fetalco for The Nation.
On Filipinos to be repatriated from Wuhan, the epicenter of the nCoV outbreak, the Department of Health says they will be quarantined at the new Clark City in Tarlac. 45 Filipinos are set to leave Wuhan on Saturday evening and are due at Clark International Airport early Sunday morning. Let's now have the rest of this story from Mark Fetalco.
The Department of Health has already identified the New Clark City as a quarantine area for Filipinos to be repatriated from China. Health Secretary Francisco Duque III said protocols and procedures are in place for the repatriation of Filipinos from Hubei province.
Procedures were set into place from the moment our OFW kababayans board the plane up until their arrival at the New Clark City.
Duque said that those repatriated will stay in Building A at the Athletes Village while the medical staff will stay in another building. It was the BCDA which offered the facility.
The rooms have televisions, each one of them, and a refrigerator, air condition. It's such a nice place, very nice rooms. Rest assured that all our kababayans will be treated with utmost care and dignity as they go through the whole process of repatriation.
To recall, New Clark City was built in 2019 and used for the Philippines hosting of the 30th Southeast Asian Games. Meanwhile, according to the Department of Foreign Affairs, 45 OFWs have expressed intention to be repatriated from China. But before boarding the plane, they had to undergo another check. And if any of them had a fever, they would be disallowed entry and instead be taken to a hospital in China. China. The DFA said they already have a team inside Wuhan City. Meanwhile, on the entire quarantine process, the DOH will be in charge of management, coordination, and logistics, while upon completion of the 14-day period, the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration will take over in facilitating discharged OFWs. Officials said they are hoping to bring the Filipinos home by February 9, but this is still tentative. Mark Fetalco for The Nation.